If there's one thing we can all agree on, and there's not many things we can, AI is kind of here to stay. I'm not sure whether at some point is going to get to a point where people step in and go, we need to stop this. But it's here to stay, and for now, I think we should make hay whilst the sun shines. With what's currently going on in AI, it is not going to take over our profession at all. Of course, this could change, and I could have very much an egg-on-face situation here, but for the time being, we're all safe. But we can absolutely utilise AI in order to make more money, or if, like me, you have a slightly different outlook on life, to gain more time. Now, I've been using AI for the last probably 6 to 9 months. All of my YouTube channels, I use AI to help with that. My emails, I use AI to help with that. And more recently, I've been using AI to help with my editing. Now, you might have seen a recent video which shows you that I have no clue how to edit. I don't do Photoshop. I have to bring in a retoucher. Retouchers are expensive, and a lot of the work I need them to do is kind of beneath them. Now, for me personally, obviously not being able to do my own retouching, I have to wait until a retoucher is available. That is not always convenient. Or, as many people point out in the comments in that video I made, you don't have the budget to hire a retoucher. Today's video is sponsored by Evoto AI. It's an editing software which helps you speed up your workflow and save money. For me personally, I'm more interested in the saving time sort of element of this. It's brilliant because I work with a professional retoucher. They are amazing, but they're not always free when I need them, especially for stuff like YouTube where I don't really have the budget to pay for that sort of thing. So very useful for me. Now, before I go into what AI would like me to say, I want to explain to you why I've accepted this particular brand deal, and it's because it solves a very real problem for us. If you've ever taken a picture on paper, which if you follow this channel you probably have, and is fine for portrait, the background's way yonder, there's no texture there. You can't see the texture in the paper, but the second you photograph it, especially if you focus stack it, that texture is very real. So replacing the backgrounds is super easy. We find our image, you see the problem here, the paper's in focus because we've focus stacked it. This is a detail in paper we just don't need. So we head over to this tab here, clean solid background, tick the box, gone. That's a pretty sharp cutout. And then the great bit here is we can just synchronize it all. So I'll select all of these images here which all need the same cutout. And I'll just press synchronize. Yep, sync selected photos. There we go. And as we go through these images, you'll see they now all have pristine backgrounds and the paper texture is just completely gone. So that's super simple, super easy. If you're into this look, which I very much am, this is very much the in-trend look right now. I've done a couple of tests. Every single one of them is done a very good job on. There will obviously be more complex things where it won't work, but for what I do, pretty darn good. Now, this is where the real moneymaker comes in. If you want to do a GIF, GIFs are very trendy right now. Every brand who shoots with us, they want a GIF of some point, at some point even. And the problem with GIFs is you have to retouch frame by frame. Now with Evoke AI, you can choose the background fixie-uppy majigglerous thing, and you can synchronize it across them. So once you've got it right in the first one, it will synchronize and it will take the information of selecting the item and find that item in each frame. Now this is brilliant because I have spent days of my life trying to sort this out myself, or hundreds of pounds paying a retoucher. It's not always viable for me to have a retoucher on hand. It's definitely not viable for me to retouch it myself because I'm absolutely useless and incompetent. But in terms of these great background removal tools, it's absolutely brilliant. Now it has other features as well. It has a great retouching for skin. You can sort of do something very similar to frequency separation, but much faster. So instead of spending hours doing it, you spend a few minutes. Obviously, it is not as good as doing frequency separation, but for me, when I'm doing a thumbnail, because I'm blessed with having no hair, teenage acne, and a grey beard, it can get me out of a bit of a tight spot now and then. So, likewise, I use a lot of this for thumbnail work. So, one thing we often do is just a background change. Maybe we need blue, and we're good to go. Gradient, I mean, there's a whole host of different colours we can choose here. Orange is particularly good for YouTube. It's got every colour you can imagine. You can add your own backgrounds in as well, or you can export it as a transparent layer, and it's that quick. It is, as far as I'm aware, quicker than Photoshop. Now, we're not going to have any of that on this particular image, because what we're going to do is quickly show you the make myself look okay again. Now, I have some particular ethics with retouching of skins. I think if it's permanent, you leave it there. If it's temporary, you can take it away. That's my personal preference. So spots on my face, they can go. If I happen to get a cool scar on my face, that will stay. Not sure where I stand on receding hairlines. I mean, it's temporary in that it's getting worse, so maybe I can add it back. But we have all of the usual features here. You can go way too far on this. I don't, double chin remover. I mean, I grew a beard to do that, but dark circle reducing. I mean, anyone who's got kids, let's have some of that going on. Forehead wrinkle reducing. I think the lighting was quite flattering for me on that particular day. Fixing oily face. Something I often need to do. Just takes a bit of the shine away. So it has all of these things in there. Don't always look my best at the end of a day's filming. And when I grab the stills, sometimes, life happens. But they're my, personal ethics. If you want to make yourself plastic fantastic, fill your boots. Don't feel that you're stopped by anything I believe in. It also, and this is one of those weird things that you didn't know you needed until you find out something doesn't do it. It lets you export as a TIFF if you import as a TIFF. So you can bring a TIFF in and bring a TIFF out. The amount of these bits of software, you bring a TIFF in and you get a JPEG out, it's like, great, well done. I'm a professional photographer, I actually need this stuff here. Now, of course, this is just one of many AI tools. There are many out there, and there are AI tools for everything, and I am fully embracing this. And yes, I do feel I'm going to have my Kodak moment where I say AI isn't the future, and then I'm queuing up at the job centre. But for now, I'm confident that we should be using AI tools in order to make sure that we get the most out of our work. Let me give you some other examples of ways I'm doing this. So I use ChatGTP as a conversationalist. I'm in here by myself. If I've got an idea, I use it as a sounding board. I bounce ideas off it. I use it to help me with my YouTube titles. I'll get it to come up with 10 titles for me. Before, I'd have spent several hours coming up with the titles because they're so important, whereas now, I only have to spend a few minutes like back and forthing, and then I've got all this extra time to do the creativity, which again, harken back to my previous video about all the things I don't know how to do. As these things, for me personally, can be put out to AI, they can save me time, which means I can focus more on the things I do know. And that, to me, is what my career is about. It's not about trying to learn everything. It's about trying to do the thing I'm good at and getting help in elsewhere. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.